I'm Rainer Mayer and I'm International Advisor for Hampshire Scouts. One of the things in the Global Programme Zone is to identify topics and themes that are suitable for Scouts from beavers through to Explorer Scouts. And we've discussed over a number of years what might be a suitable topic and theme. One of them is obviously fair trade, which is quite well known. But more recently we've decided to start Scouts Against Malaria. And in a second I will show you a video which explains the global problem. And then we'll have a discussion as to what Scouts can do to make a difference. The real thing about malaria is that it's one of the greatest killers of children under the age of 5, and the means of preventing it are within our grasp, and therefore it seems to me that this is the way we can make a difference. So I'll show the video now. It was originally produced for Comic Relief in 2015, and the person who narrates it is still Doctor Who until the next episode. So this is Peter Capaldi at the main hospital in Lilongwe in Malawi, which is one of the countries where we're working with the Scouts to reduce malaria. The reason why it's so devastating is because there's 3 billion people who live within the tropical areas of the world, and the largest number of them live in Africa, and the largest number of deaths are also in Africa. And as we've seen from the video, these are primarily children under the age of 5. And so we've set up this initiative to join the global partnership and try and see where Scouts can make a difference. So the first question is, why do you think the people in subtropical Africa are most affected? There's 100 million people unprotected. Why do you think that is?
Education. Is it just education? They're not aware of the risks?
Yeah, possibly. Any other suggestions?
Education, medication.
What about poverty?
Poverty.
Yeah. There are 4 reasons here that I've given for why it's most effective. The first one you didn't mention, which was that for mosquitoes to breed needs to be hot and damp. Then we've talked about poverty, and these are all linked together. It's this combination that makes a difference. Because in bulk, we're looking millions of nets now, the cost is no more than £1 to manufacture. Now, the thing about malaria is that it's caused by a particular type of mosquito. The most important thing, they call it an Anopheles mosquito, but the most important thing is it's active at night. And of course, that's when people are sleeping. So one reason why the bed nets are so important is because they can protect the family while they're sleeping at night. The other thing that one should be aware of is that the mosquito itself is not responsible directly for malaria. When it draws blood, it injects at the same time through its saliva a parasite. It's the parasite that is the carrier of malaria. How is malaria spread? Well, I've already mentioned the thing about the parasite, but what happens is that the parasites find their way into the cells of the liver, and from there they breed and multiply. They then burst the cell walls and go and attack the red blood corpuscles, and they in turn are effective and they breed further. So you can see that it's a potentially very serious illness, and therefore protection is critical. particularly since there's no vaccine. So the second one is, question for yourself, is why do you think it's so difficult to defeat malaria?
I'm guessing the actual logistics of getting the solution to them is a challenge.
Yeah, very much so. David, any other suggestions?
Well, again, Alan's mentioned distance, medication, and a large part of it is about preventing the disease in the first place, rather than curing the disease.
Kieran, any other suggestions?
Lack of money to the area.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all possible. Let's see what firstly, it's a tropical disease which we mentioned. The second one, which is very important, is the problem is why the mosquitoes continue to breed. In a hot, damp climate, you will always find pools of water, and that's what they need to breed their larvae. Now, in countries where there's considerable funds available, they can spray the pools with insecticide, but it means spraying all the pools. So one way of preventing, of course, is to kill them. And then I've mentioned two other things here. We've mentioned the poverty one already, but the other one, of course, is the climate change, which is causing the boundaries over which malaria is increasing. And malaria has been detected now, for example, in some of the countries in southern Europe, for example. So it's gradually coming north. So, next question is, if poverty is one of the major things, what can Scouts do to alleviate poverty?
Donate money.
Right. Any other suggestions?
Encourage initiatives like fair trade.
Yeah, fair trade, very good.
Again, go to places and help build schools to educate the young people.
Yeah, those are three very good suggestions. Let's see what I've put on this slide. And in fact, the slide actually deals with fair trade. And the reason why I mentioned fair trade and why we concentrate on fair trade is simply because fair trade is a way of every scout doing something. It doesn't actually require donations. If you buy tea or coffee, you can see there's a large range of things there of the fair trade market. It's one way that scouts can make a difference, but all scouts can make a difference. And these are posters that were produced for our annual Fair Trade cooking competition, which is county-wide. And these are each of them have to produce a poster and put it up in 3 local shops. And that's another poster. The one that's most striking, but is difficult to read, is one that is one which says, "Great food, fair prices, why wouldn't you?" And superimposed behind the Fair Trade logo is the outline of the body, with people licking across to do that. Now the back half of the talk will be given by Mark.
Okay, my name is Marvin Takel. I'm with Surrey Scouts. I'm also a member of the International Scout Support Unit. And we started Scouts Against Malaria in 2015, all because of one question. And the question was, how do we do anything about malaria? What can we do about saving lives? Not simple, because we are just individuals that are volunteers, and we're not in a position where we can raise millions of pounds. We're not Microsoft Corporation. So what we had to do is look at the way in which we work to be the most effective. It stands for needs, aims, and what I've done is I've added assumptions. Objectives, method, implementation, and evaluation. So let's look at them individually. Needs. What do we need? What we need to do is to save lives by introducing measures that will save those lives. So we're not in a position to go out and spray pools. We're not in a position to analyse the Anopheles mosquitoes and its parasites that it carries. So what we have to do is think about what we can do. And the most effective way of dealing with malaria is to get people under bed nets. But our aims are not only to protect people, especially the vulnerable people, young people and sick people, but it's also to educate them. And the reason for education is because there are an awful lot of assumptions that we have. We all assume. What do you think you assume? That's an assumption, that they all live in poor areas. Have you got the assumption?
Poor areas, drainage, lack of, yes indeed.
Okay, any assumption?
I would say that we assume that they know more about malaria than they do.
Yes, absolutely. Have you got anything?
I suppose we assume that their hospitals could be as good as ours, but in fact they're not.
Okay, yes. We have assumptions that they know the subject better than we do. And they all understand the problems and they can deal with them and they find their own ways of dealing with them. And that's not actually true. So for example, there was an area of Uganda where the Uganda scouts actually discovered that the local people thought that malaria was caused by witchcraft. A lot of people that have been interviewed and educated in Uganda actually thought that there was no such thing as mosquito-related diseases. They did not want to sleep under mosquito nets because they're too hot. So what were those mosquito nets used for? Any ideas? Fishing. Yes, absolutely. Anything else? To cover the plants, that's right. It covers their crops. So just giving nets does not actually solve the problem. You have to give them reasons as to why they should use those nets. So we have to get over not only our assumptions, we have to get over their assumptions as well. So why are the bed nets so effective? Well, if you use insecticide-coated nets, they kill the mosquito. They kill the mosquito, then you reduce the amount of malaria. But I just want to ask you a question. You've already heard that the Anopheles mosquito, which is the female Anopheles mosquito, is the one that bites you, are active at night. Have you got any idea where they go during the day?
No idea.
Nooks and crannies around the house.
Nooks and crannies around the house. Now, what's interesting is when Europeans go to Africa and they have a nice bed and they have a nice mosquito net, I'm not aware that most mosquitoes actually spend their day under the bed. Most Africans, especially the poor Africans, do not have beds. They sleep on the floor. But they don't always use their net correctly. So, our methods. So what do? Well, we try and encourage UK Scouts to learn about malaria. First of all, understand the problems. And that would include not just learning about how mosquitoes fly around, how they inject people, how they pass on the disease, but also how you would stop them doing it, how you could avoid them doing it. Are there any other kind of methods which are feasible for UK Scouts to actually employ? So we suddenly found that we needed to educate UK Scouts just as much as we needed to educate Africans or South Americans or Asian people. So we have to find or develop a program that UK Scouts can do. And what we decided to do was to raise a series of resources for the different sections and then allow them to learn about the problems. If they so wish, they can go ahead, fundraise, and we ask them to raise £5 a head, which will pay for a net, and then they earn the Scouts Against Malaria badge. That's their reward, that they may have helped to save a life. What happens then is we send the funds to the relevant Scout associations, and they employ local scouts to go out into the communities. It's no point going out and giving away nets. The governments do that, they give away 10,000 nets at one go. Probably only about 500 of them are used for the purpose intended. So what we have to do is use the local scouts in those affected areas to not only educate the people and educate them as to the reason why they should be using them to be more effective. Erecting a net is quite a challenge. You can try it as part of the programme. We have developed a resources box, which you can see on the table there, where we would include a mosquito net. And one of the challenges for the cubs, scouts, beavers, is to put the net up so that they could be protected. It's not easy. So how would you expect people, poor people in Africa, to be able to do the same? Because here we come back to the assumptions. We assume that they've got somewhere to hang it from. We assume that it's going to cover the whole family. Certainly the children, but they may have 6 children. So it's got to be big enough and capable enough to cover them all. So again, I'll come on to that in a minute, it's all part of the programme. So this is where we ask the African scouts that we deal with to develop their own techniques so that the local scouts can go in and assist the local people in erecting the mosquito nets. They do it for them. What we then ask them to do is go back a couple of months later and find out if they're still using the net. And does it reduce the event of malaria within that district? That way we get feedback so that we can adjust our needs, methods and aims. Okay, any questions? No. This is one of the activities that we ask people to do. It's a fun thing to do, but it gets people just involved in learning about the mosquito. Most people, in fact, if you go out now and ask most of the kids out there, they probably don't even know that there are mosquitoes in this country. Okay, but have a look in your water butt sometimes, if it's open. If you see any wriggly things, they're mosquito larvae. But we're lucky we don't have those that carry the malaria parasite. Not yet, because with global warming, assuming that it does exist, as the summers get warmer, we have more standing water in this country than ever before. Malaria is a real threat. Some experts seem to think that within 10 years we could have instances of malaria in the UK. Certainly in southern Europe. So this is what the African Scouts are doing with our help. We supply them the way in which we can buy the nets. They then take them out, fit the nets, and hopefully reduce the effect. So there we have Scouts in Ghana erecting a net, Scouts in Uganda helping them erect the nets in their own houses. And then what we ask the local scout associations to do is actually not only write down an evaluation of the problem, but actually write an evaluation of their solution to it. It gives us a chance to get feedback from them as to how effective it's been, and it gives us a chance then to liaise with them and say, well, we need things to be done maybe a certain different way. But we do rely on their expertise. And it's as much a learning curve for them as it is for us. This was the last report from Uganda. You can see how in-depth it is. They have given it a lot of thought. And as Raina further pointed out, this is a global partnership. We are all trying to do what we can to reduce the incidence of malaria. All it takes are groups to raise some money and you have helped save lives. It's as simple as that. That's our website. On that website we do have all the resources necessary for the activities. The resource box there will soon be going onto the website. It doesn't mean that they have to buy it or rent it from us. You can make your own box up. It's really quite a simple activity box. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you very much for your time. And I hope this has been of some use. Do you have any questions, by the way? I mean, is there anything you'd like to ask? Yeah, sure.
While you've been speaking, I've sort of been tweeting and Facebooking about some of the key issues. Is there anything else you would like me to get out there as a message to leaders and young people about how they can get involved with it?
I think once people have seen this video, I don't know how they could not go out there and do something. Any resource that you have, because not all scout groups are the same, not all setups and organisations are the same. We have been trying to involve Dutch Scouts recently. And they came back saying, I'm sorry, but our organisation isn't the same as yours. We can't involve ourselves in what you do. Well, they could, but they obviously chose not to. But we have had interest from Norwegian Scouts today, and I'm sure that if people like yourself had an influence with these groups and told them how simple it is, they could make a difference as well. So feel free to go out there and do whatever you want to do. Hertfordshire Scouts have got involved. They have their own interest group. They are going to support Burkina Faso. It's not a problem. They're happy to use the logo, the resources, the website, anything. If anybody wants to contribute something, they're welcome to use the resources. There's no copyright.
The saddest thing about all the campaigns that we've run so far is that we haven't had enough funds to distribute nets to all the vulnerable families we've identified in the area. And the hardest thing in life is to decide, you're faced by a group of mothers, or it could be fathers, faced by a group, who gets the nets and who doesn't. So you raise expectations, the local district health officer summons the people in the area that they're going to distribute the nets. What do you do with the people who are turned away? I wouldn't like to be in that situation, neither would anybody else. But yet, for the sake of a small amount of pocket money, each of us could save a life. Anybody want to say anything else? What would be nice to know is what Kent as a county would do as opposed to individual.
Well, Kent Scouts are looking at an expedition for Ghana next year, and one of the things we're certainly thinking about is that this kind of presentation, this project, the boxes allow us to put something out there for sections that they can then run on their meeting nights, and coming out of that make donations which we can then use to fund nets in Ghana and actually meet up with the Scouts who are delivering that service in Ghana.
What Heart Scouts have done, this is Peter Makewell, Mike Aston and his team, is they've actually made up one of those resource boxes, like you see for every district in Hertfordshire. There are, I think, 21 in Hertfordshire. And they've decided this is a worthwhile cause for funds simply because it provides the resource that's necessary, because one of the difficulties is just trying to get all the resources together is time consuming. The leaders might say yes, but we all know that leaders have other things to do, often have young children and other people like that. So, if you had willing to make it, we can provide you with a list of those things. And we could either provide you a resource box, or you could go ahead and make it yourself. I think the greatest cost there is the malaria net, and we're now going to put together a dossier to try and get a large number of malaria nets for free.
Could you give a rough estimate at what it would cost to put one of these boxes together, so that we can then think about whether our young people going out to Ghana could make one each to give to a group?
I'll say it's £20.
About £20, okay.
Plus the net.
Plus the net.
Plus
and the nets are roughly...
Well, it depends whether you buy them in bulk.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, what we're trying to do is talk to the net manufacturers to try and get a large number.
A guesstimate of the price of a net?
Well, it
Between...
depends. Well, the thing is, at Amazon, if you go to Amazon, they advertise that for about £10.
£10, so it could be anything up to £10.
That's right.
Right,
So you're
okay.
talking a maximum of 30, but it could be a bit less. And
I think at £30 a box, we could look at each participant, put them on together. Yeah.
and doing it with a group. Any other comments or suggestions? It would be nice if you could, as a county, adopt it and publicise it, because and I think I mentioned to David earlier when you came round that what Berkshire did with Project Africa when they went out is that they involved the whole county in doing things. So that when they went out to Uganda, this was a badge that everybody could earn, and they became aware of what life was like in Uganda, what they could do, how they could help, and this sort of thing. It's a good thing to do, I think, because it's the difficulty with the global programs now is to identify a theme that is suitable for all ages, from beginners through to explorers. The other thing I would say is that the video that we show now is really suitable for older ones, because it's got a very sad end. But there is another video in the pack which is more suitable for younger as well. Anything else? Good. Well, I hope you'll spread the word, and we're only too happy if you want to go for a launch, we're only too happy to come across the Kent, give either this talk or a shorter version of the talk to people who might be interested. That's my pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.